This week we're going to be doing something different. We're working in collaboration with one of the business management courses. Here is the information about that class. It's Business Management 182, Creative Sales and Customer Relationship Management. So the students in this class have created business ideas and company names, and as groups, they've developed a whole business, and we are going to create logos for them. So you each are going to pick the business you want to create a logo for, and this week we're going to create just mock-ups for the logo. And then this business class will choose which mock-up from each designer that they want to use, and then you will create a final logo based on their feedback. So you can find, here's the description of the project here. When you go to modules, we're in week 4, and this is P4 part 1 logo mockups. So that's right here. And then you can link to the discussion, which I have up here. And in the discussion has all of, these are that class's business ideas, all of the business names. So you can look through this. There's 6 businesses, and there's a lot more of you in this class. So there can't be more than 4 designers for each business. So this is a first come, first serve kind of thing. So you're going to reply to this discussion with the number and name of the business, what's in bold, that you want to design for. And if you see, before you pick yours, you have to look at what other people have chosen. And if you see that the business that you want has more than 4 designers, then you need to pick another one. So not more than 4 designers can work on one business, because I want each of these businesses to have at least 2 designers working for them. So just make sure before you reply to this discussion that there's not more than 4 people. There's 4 people total for each business, and to pick your business, you're just replying right here and letting us know which one you are going to go for. So then once you've picked your business, you're going to, in the discussion, you're going to brainstorm and think about what kind of design you want to create for that business. So your brainstorm can consist of writing a list. It can consist of making sketches of your idea. Really, however your creative process works, you can try a couple different things. I would suggest just making a list. Like if you look at one of these businesses and it's Beauty Bar Express, there's facials, chemical peels, manicures. Maybe you could just start writing images that go with that. Maybe nails or nail art, maybe some of images that go with being in a spa-like environment, something relaxing, something that people would want to go to when they have time off. And they also have a trailer and do mobile services, so maybe you would draw a trailer with some tweezers on it or something. You know, think of ideas that could go with this business that would make sense for their logo. And remember, a logo is simple. It has to convey the idea of the business very quickly. People have to be able to see it from far away. It has to be shrunk down really small and enlarged very big. So a place I like to go, I like to just search for top logo or best logos or award-winning logos, and this website always has some good stuff on it. So here's some to start to get inspired by. A lot of them are animated here, but you can see that simple is really good. You know, this is one about shopping smart. So it's a little shopping bag with some glasses on it. And fish food, there's fish, and instead of the bones, you know, it's some cutlery like knives and forks and spoons. So that's super creative, but it's really simple. And this could work really big or really small. We get the idea really, really easily. Here's one that looks like it could be in the Pacific Northwest, you know, and it kind of looks like a stamp. So think about what kind of company this might be for. Think about the style of the business you're designing for, what would fit in with that kind of company. You know, this tattoo company has this really awesome logo, and that's a very different look than the mountain logo. So those would be for 2 really different businesses. So think about what makes sense for the business you're designing for. You know, this is a really clever take on the word fence, and it's fitting into an actual fence. So you can do a lot with just the words that you're using. You can hand letter stuff. You can create your own, like this, I think you could all create with what we've learned so far with just some shapes. So it doesn't have to be crazy and super detailed. It should be simple and get the point across. So take some time to find logo designers that you like, get inspired by stuff that you think is interesting and that you think works really well. And sometimes working for a client can be difficult, and you have to respect your client's wishes. Your design should fit into your brand, into their branding, and you should listen to them. But sometimes clients have really bad ideas, and it's your job as a designer not to argue with them, but to show them why another way makes more sense from a design perspective. So you're the design expert when it comes to working with clients, right? So have confidence in your expertise and try to educate them. This person I found, DK, created these really funny animations about designers and clients that I just wanted to show you guys to give you a little bit of a laugh, because it can be stressful sometimes. We can see the designer sweating, but know that it also can be a really cool collaborative experience. So I want you to think of this as a way to learn how to collaborate with someone else. And the people in the business class might not know anything about design or about art, so you have to kind of show them enough with your design so they can understand what your vision and what your idea is, so that they can see what you're trying to create. So just showing them a sketch isn't going to be enough. You're going to have to show them a mock-up so they can really get an idea of what your idea is. I think this one is hilarious, and here's another one from this artist. So we're not going to have an experience like this. We're going to have a great experience. But I thought that this is just a creative way. I know some people get nervous about working with a group or having a client, and you can think about it as you're the designer, you're the expert in the situation, but you're also working with someone else. So how to balance that, how to bring your own style and sensibility into the work, but also honor your client and what their wishes are and what their brand and their business is. Okay, so make sure you pick your business and then start to brainstorm, and then you're going to create. All of the details are in Canvas here, all of the requirements, so you can read over them. I'm quickly going to show you how to create your mock-up. So let's go to File, New. I'll just show you how to set it up. So we're going to make it a letter size, which is 8.5 by 11, and that's because we want it easy for people to print. It's a standard size. They can print it out super easily if they want to. They can open it up and it's not going to be some weird size. You can make the orientation either portrait, up like this, or landscape. That's up to you, but you definitely need 2 artboards for this. And this is just going to make your life easier because you're required to do a 2-page PDF, and setting it up in the beginning with 2 artboards just makes it super easy. So you're going to create that, and it will look like this, or in the landscape orientation. And I have started my own here. So the first artboard will be your information. So, this is my logo. If you have a logo, great, you can put it in there. I have my name, my contact information, pick a nice font. You're gonna spend more time on this. You should have your email, your name, your email, and your blog for this class, which you'll post this on as well. And then I like to pick out, if I have my logo here, or if you have the logo mock-ups that you've created, I like to use the eyedropper tool, which is right here. And I like to pick up colors from the designs that I'm using to make it more cohesive and consistent. And for the background, I just kind of broke it up. I just made a simple rectangle shape and gave it a little bit of a 2-tone effect, because I think that makes it more interesting. It can be really simple, but think of ways you can add a little bit of design to this first page. Think of ways you can make it look great. I didn't spend a ton of time on this, so I want you to spend time, setting stuff up. And then for the brainstorming, I said trees, natural, organic shapes, calm. When you're moving things around, if you have your smart guides on, those are those pink lines. You get them here by view. Make sure smart guides is checked. I always like to line stuff up. So I'm lining this up with the center of the text above it. So that looks good. I can line this up with the end of my logo. So those 2 are lined up. Give space around it if people print it out. You want to give them enough space in case the printer cuts stuff off. Okay, so get your first page set up with your contact information, brainstorming. If you have any sketches, you can put them here too. Just make sure they're clean. You don't want to confuse the client. So if your sketches are not easy for anyone else to understand, especially someone who might not have a background in art or design, then I would say leave them out and just give your list of brainstorming. And then the second artboard will be your designs. So for this project, I really want you to utilize, apply everything that we've learned so far. So you could do hand lettering, you can do fonts, you can build with simple shapes, you can do a drawing, like these are drawings that I image traced. You know, this is hand lettering that I image traced. I want you to kind of find your own style and way of working with this. So think about everything we've learned so far in the class and how you can apply it to making a design, a logo for the business that you feel proud of. So this I made some ink on a piece of paper and I image traced it and then I just filled it in. So think about ways you can make your design interesting based on what we've done so far. So you're going to have 4 different designs here and you're going to space them out on the page really nice. And a really important thing that I learned over time from not doing this is to number the designs, because especially if you're working with clients that you don't meet with in person, which most people don't get to meet with their clients all the time in person. You probably have to email a lot back and forth. It's much easier to say design number 2 than to say the one with the tree. Well, which one with the tree? All of them have trees and they might be talking about a different one than you're talking about, and then you get confused and then you work on the wrong one for hours and hours and they're like, that's not the one I liked. So to save yourself time, just put in some numbers here. And to do the type tool, you just press on the text and click and write a number. And you can design those as well. So you can go back to the move tool, click on it, and you can take your eyedropper. So V, I'm clicked on it, I'm in my eyedropper, and I'm just clicking the color over here that I want to use. Then I'm pressing V again, and I'm going back to my eyedropper, which is conveniently I on the keyboard. So think about how you're designing each element, even if it's a simple element like these numbers, design them nicely, make them look good. So you have to go back to V, the selection every time, and then go to the eyedropper and click that. So make your stuff look great. One thing I wanted to show you in case you do have something where you want to type on a path, that's what this curved line is. So I can still come in and edit this lettering and delete stuff and change the word. So to do that, first you have to draw a path. So in the text tool here underneath, you see this type on a path tool. But before we can use the type on a path tool, we have to have a path to type on. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. And I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for you. So let's say I wanna type on a circle. I'm gonna take the ellipse tool, I'm holding Shift Alt and making a circle. And I'm doing no fill, no stroke. So I'm coming over here and making no fill, no stroke. They both have the red line through them. And then I'm coming into my type, right clicking on the type tool and going on the type on a path tool. And then I'm just clicking on here and that pops up and I can type on path. And then you can see it's like not really lined up where I want it to be lined up. So I can come into my direct selection. When you're in the type tool, you can't press V because it's just gonna type V. So you have to manually come get your direct selection. That's something that might start to drive you crazy if you don't remember to do it. So I'm in my selection tool. See how my cursor changes? There's like a little arrow with a line and a little arrow with a line. I can move these to get that placed where I want to place it. So you can just adjust that. You can also adjust the shape of your path it's going to distort your lettering a little bit. So just take some time and make that look great. So the type on the path tool is a great option for this. And remember, these are mock-ups. So you're making enough for your client to get an idea of what your design is, but you don't have to go crazy on a lot of details or shading or texture or any of that other stuff we've been doing. Think about just making shapes, think about your color scheme, think about the fonts you're going to use, or if you're going to do hand lettering. Like for this one was just a mock-up, and if I was going to do this for a client for real, I would definitely redo this hand lettering and make it cleaner. So think about, you can do something quickly enough so that they can see what it would basically look like. So I think this is good enough for the client to get the idea of this like hand lettering that's a certain kind of style, that's this certain kind of shape and has some details in there, but I didn't spend hours and hours creating that. I did it kind of small and I just image traced it quickly. So think about that. Same with this lettering. If this was going to be the final design, that the client didn't pick this one, but I would spend a lot more time getting that lettering looking great. So remember, your clients aren't designers. You're giving them enough information that they can get an idea of what your vision is, but you're not spending so many hours on it. It's not the final design. So just let me know if you have any questions about that. We can talk about it through email. If you need help getting inspired, definitely take a look on the internet. I think this website has some really great stuff. You can find your own that you love. It's always good to follow designers that you love and find online and just pay attention to what they're doing in their career and what kind of stuff they're making. So remember, one more thing, to save. That's important. So once you get your designs all set up, get this thing out of the way, get them looking nice. So get them all lined up, use your smart guides, get your numbers all lined up, get everything looking really clean. So the way you present yourself as a designer is really important. You want your client to think that you're a professional and you want them to want to hire you and pay you more money. So the more professional you make your stuff, I didn't spend a lot of time on this, but I expect you to spend time making your 2 artboards look great. Then to save them, you just go to File, Save As, and from the drop down here, it probably says Illustrator as the default. So for the drop down here, you want to do PDF, and you want all the artboards. And let's see, I'll make this. And save it. And then press Save PDF. And then when you come into where you have saved it, into your very organized file folders, when you click that open, you can see anyone can just open this PDF from anywhere and it looks clean and it's easy to read and they could print it out and it would look nice. So really take time. Also, in Illustrator, I think there is spell check, but you might want to, if you have a lot of writing that you're using, it's always a good idea to put it into a Word document and just have it spell checked so you look professional that way too. So I would take a minute and just do that and make sure it looks good. So that's all you have to do, is you have to create this 2 pages of the PDF, upload that to the Canvas. For Canvas this week, all you're doing is uploading the PDF. It's the only thing you're submitting to Canvas. And then you're posting both pages to your blog. And then I'm going to send those PDFs to the business class. They're going to pick from each designer, they're going to pick the mock-up that they want to go with, and then you're going to create the final logo. And then for each business, each group that has created the business, they're going to pick one logo to use for their business of all the ones that were created for their business. So it's kind of like a little contest, but with no prize except feeling awesome. Okay, so again, just ask me questions if you have any. The rubric is here. This is pretty simple. I want you to have fun with it. I want you to utilize everything that we've learned so far in the class to make these mock-ups, and I want you to get super creative and definitely ask me questions. Don't forget to go to the discussion and pick your business name. And I will leave you with this. Have fun.